This is Umar for BoxNation. Didn't really expect to be doing a Zoom with Gareth this morning, Thursday morning, but obviously overnight, some news has come out about Ryan Garcia failing a test for ostarine, a VADA test taken on the day before and the day over his win over Devin Haney. I just get your immediate reaction to this, please, Gareth.
Well, it's shocking, and it changes the perspective on his victory over Devin Haney if it is shown to be a genuine positive test. Ostarine is a drug that's been banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency since 2008, I believe, Umar, and it creates and helps lean muscle mass in the body, um, and is generally used for the treatment of breast cancer in women. But it's been banned for 16 years on that list. If you recall, Amir Khan tested positive for it in 2022 and was banned for 2 years, took a 2 year ban, and said he unknowingly took it. It wasn't a deliberate thing. The Garcia has proclaimed his innocence. It sheds a different light on his victory over Devin Haney. Obviously, I think one of the things to bear in mind, in my view, is you know when they test on the day before a fight and the day of the fight, why does it take this long for the test to come to light? It seems inadequate based on the current system. They pay 30 odd grand to get these tests done by VADA, the voluntary anti-doping agency, and it just beggars belief that we have to wait for this period of time, or the fighters themselves have to wait for this period of time to get the results. Obviously, Haney has said that he's completely innocent and he's never taken a steroid in his life. Um, and obviously, predictably, Devin Haney saying it puts a completely different reflection on the fight, in which, of course, Ryan Garcia knocked Devin Haney down 3 times and won by what was it, majority decision, wasn't it?
Majority, yeah. All right. It also said Garcia's test also screened positive for a nandrolone metabolite, but this result is unconfirmed until further lab analysis. What exactly is that for people who are watching and don't know what that is?
I did look at that. They screened positive for 19 norandrosterone, and that is unconfirmed at the moment. I don't know what that drug is. I haven't looked into it yet. Just been reading about it as we've woken up this morning, to this shocking news, really. I'm sure we'll get the full details later. Matchroom have got a press conference, haven't they, in Birmingham today? I'm sure we'll get a lot from Eddie Hearn out on that today, and he'll surely be very, very unhappy about these positive findings in Ryan Garcia, who's put out multiple videos overnight to his 12 million social media followers that he absolutely isn't a drug cheat. He's got 10 days, by the way, to request the testing of the B sample that was taken the day before, like you rightly say, the day before and the day of the fight. He's in hot water right now. I mean, ostarine has shown up in his system, and it needs to be proven one way or the other whether it's verifiable or not.
The New York Commission are going to investigate Ryan Garcia's positive drug test now, and they could overturn his win to a no contest. Golden Boy have also put out that Ryan has put out multiple statements denying knowingly using any banned substance. Of course, they'd say that at this point, but yeah, well, that could get overturned. The New York Commission are saying that result.
Yeah, they could, and it makes sense that they'd overturn it if the test isn't proved to have been wrong. They will overturn the results, and there'll be music to Devin Haney's ears. It's a disaster for what was an amazing event and an amazing fight and an amazing storyline. I mean, we're not discussing right now the heist, if you like, as I called it, that Ryan Garcia pulled over everyone. The conning of everyone that he wasn't in a great state mentally. And I do think that there'll be a lot of retribution against him if if he can't prove his innocence in this case, Umar. And it's again, we have to go back to the cradle of the discussion here, which is boxing's an inherently dangerous sport. The protection of fighters is very important. Haney was badly beaten up by Garcia in that fight, knocked down 3 times, of course, hurt by Ryan Garcia. And if it is proven that he definitely had banned substances, performance enhancing drugs in his system, it's a very serious and it's a very heinous thing to have done. And I think, all fighters need protecting from those who are taking banned substances and ultimately cheating, using their body as a weapon. Um, and, we hopefully never have this case, but imagine if Haney had been irreparably damaged in that fight last Saturday week. And, where would we be now? I think we'd be dealing with a criminal case. And someone trying to prove their innocence over whether they've got banned substances in their body, and whether they deserve to be treated as a criminal.
Bill Haney's also put a statement out, Devon's father, of course. You're trying to hurt my baby. We played it fair. F boxing. This is some bullshit. I came from the streets. You're scared of Devon on a level playing field. I feel effed up over this.
Of course he does. His son has been beaten and hurt. And now it's emerged overnight from the United States that the guy who stepped in against his son in a very bitter, resentful fight, and innings 7 of their rivalry, if you like, the winner, the guy who had his hands raised at the end, the guy that got all the plaudits at the end, as his son had to melt away and lick his wounds and go and look after his soul, if you like, after the fight, has now been found to be up against someone, if the tests prove correct and if it's all correct, who had an enhanced performance in him through substances that were in his system. Now, the one thing I would say is that Garcia, what is he, 25 now? He's had 26 fights. He's never tested positive for anything in the past. That they have found something in his system. I think I'd like to know the quantities in the system. I'd like to know a little bit more detail on it. I mean, detail is very sparse at the moment, isn't it? And it's almost as if this stuff's been leaked out to ESPN by somebody, maybe VADA, maybe the Haneys. But it's a very, very serious situation.
Have you been through Ryan's social media?
I've watched one of the videos where he's with 2 other people, a woman and a man, and he's saying this is absolutely outrageous. It's lies. I haven't ever taken a steroid in my life, but I haven't been through the whole raft of things. Why do you say so?
Well, there's about 30 or 40 posts here on his Twitter or X account, as people call it these days. And he doesn't, obviously, I'm just going to put out that he's denied cheating strongly, but he doesn't seem to be taking it very seriously. Like if you just
Yeah.
go through his posts.
Well, he's treating it as though, like you say, there's nothing to prove here, but obviously something's emerged in his corporal system, in his body, and he has got to prove one way or the other whether they've either made a mistake or he's made a mistake, if he is innocent. Otherwise, he's taken something that has inculcated him to have a positive test by VADA. Now, it doesn't make any sense to a lot of us that he would cheat. But Bill Haney, as you quote him saying there, is saying that he didn't believe he was going to beat my son, and he's had to enhance himself in order to do it. He's got to take it seriously. It isn't just a matter of the fight being annulled and the purse being taken away. We need to get to the bottom of this. He needs to get to the bottom of this, because he's a young man in the middle of his career, and he could be facing a very, very serious ban, which will impact on his life and also on what's going on in America with this group of fighters at the moment. It's a tragedy and a travesty for boxing that we wake up this morning, Umar, and this is what we're discussing again. Boxing needs to be it needs to be clean. Fighters need to be clean. They shouldn't be on banned substances, and they shouldn't be taking something even inadvertently that puts things into their system.
Just to close off, Victor Conte's put out some statements as well regarding this. So I'm just going to read them quickly. Ryan needs to stop spewing misinformation. He says if they knew I was okay, sorry, if they knew I was positive before the fight, why did they let the fight go? Well, he says, Victor, the samples were collected on the April 19th and April 20th. It takes at least 72 hours to get stat results back. No results before the fight, so that couldn't have been prevented, that fight. He also added, Ryan's team are claiming only tiny levels is misleading. Anabolic steroids and agents are qualitative and not quantitative tests. You're either pregnant or not.
Mhm.
Claiming tiny levels is like saying he's only a tiny bit pregnant. It wouldn't make sense.
Well, I think Victor knows his stuff. He's poacher turned gamekeeper, isn't he? And he does put these things out when these cases come to light. He was on the other side with the Balco lab years ago, which was obviously a huge story in drugs in sports. Conte knows his onions, and all those points have to be very valid. And like you said, is 72 hours before the details come out. But why are we looking at this almost 2 weeks later? If it was the 20th or the 19th that he was tested, we're in May now. We should have known on the Wednesday or even the Tuesday or even the Monday, if it's 72 hours, it should be done with immediacy and then it can be dealt with straight away. We've had this whole period where we've been delighting in the victory, the triumph of Ryan Garcia, and then everything suddenly from that hubris goes completely flat. And now we're faced with the bathos of this event being wrecked by ostarine in his system. And I can only go along with what Victor Conte says. If you've got it in your system, if it's, as you say, it's qualitative, not quantitative. If you've got it in your system, it's there. So it's there in some form. So it has enhanced your corporal state, if you like. And as ostarine does, it's a muscle mass agent, isn't it? So it's not good. It's very, very disappointing as I sit here talking to you about this morning.
What about last night in Las Vegas as well? Canelo and Oscar De La Hoya nearly coming to blows.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they. Well, I mean, I suppose Canelo did get up out of his seat and call Oscar De La Hoya a cheat and a liar, and you know, and a wanker and all this kind of stuff, and cabron. Um, but you know, he's got his reasons. They've both given their reasons. It's over money, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what they're arguing about. Promoters and boxers always argue about money. Um, it's not a good scenario. It wasn't a good look. I think Oscar probably got under his skin by first saying, "Put some fucking respect on my name." I quote him, and it was always likely to flare. One or other will be crowing if Canelo or Munguia wins on Saturday night, and I do feel it'll be Canelo on points, but don't rule out Munguia giving him a very, very tough contest and potentially even taking the fight.
All right, Gareth, appreciate your time. I'll probably next see you in Riyadh for Fury Usyk.
Yeah, let's rumble in Riyadh.
Well, me and you aren't rumbling, but leave that for Alexander and Tyson, yeah?
Exactly.
All right, take care, Gareth. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Umar.